Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, what you're looking at is a Marx double reduction motor. And I just got this assembled, made this out of parts. Actually, it's a repaired motor that has been in the parts box for months. And it was originally in a 666 smoker. And as you see, the push rods originally had the brass pins in them that attached to the bellows in the smoker. Anyway, when this thing arrived, it was dead as a hammer, and I could not get it to run. I bypassed the E unit, it still wouldn't run. And so I just threw it in the box, intending to use it for parts. But I had some time, and I was going through the motors, and I started playing with it. And it was the armature. The armature was actually bad. Winding was bad. Coil. Anyway, so I pulled the armature out, stuck a new one in there, put it back together, and it actually ran quite well on the bench. And then I had to come up with a front mount for this motor. Now, in a smoker, the push rods are attached directly to the bellows by these two pins that stick out, and this drives the bellow to make the smoke, or to propel the smoke. And when I put this front crossbar on here, these push rods were too wide to fit through the slot. Now, I ground the pins off with a grinder to make them flush, and it would go into the crossbar and it would just stop right about there. They were too wide, so they're wider than standard push rods. Anyway, so I had to take the crossbar and open up these slots with a Swiss needle file, and finally got it mounted, and they were actually running quite well. Now, there's no headlight on this. Remember, this was a 666 smoker, so the headlight was separately mounted up in the cowling. Anyway, so I just got it reassembled. I ran it on the bench, and as you see, it runs quite well. No problem with it running. So I went through the parts box, just like the other day when I built this 490, and pulled out another 490 body. Now, this is a late 490, and it has the mounting screw for the micro motor. But the dimensions are the same as the 400 and the 490, and you can put a full-size motor. It'll just drop directly into this shell. So I'm going to line up the screw hole right there. Hold on, I gotta get my screws and a screwdriver. So this is the only way to see how it actually runs, is to put that motor in a body and then run it on the rail to see how it works under a load. So let me get this thing mounted. Now, this motor was not designed to be in a 490 shell, but with a bit of modification, that's what's really neat about Marx motors, is with a bit of modification you can swap almost any motor into almost any locomotive. All right, let's see if it runs. It does. All right, let me pull this off the tripod, and we'll take it over to the plastic consist. This is a new plastic consist. 14 cars, I believe it's 14. And I'll throw this on here and see how this is going to run. Now, it runs no problem. How it runs under a load is a whole different ballgame. So let's find out. So I think it's 14 cars. New double reduction motor assembled from parts. Now, there's no traction tire on this. Wow, that's running really well. That's 50% power. Wow, the thing is just absolutely flying. Let's slow it down a bit. So, a double reduction motor mounted in a 490 body, basically assembled from parts and scavenged out of an old 666 smoker. Well, that's really cool. Always gratifying to be able to take a motor that did not run. And this hasn't run since I've had it. It's been months. It's been in the box. And I finally spent some time playing with it and discovered that armature was bad. So, a new armature. I had to modify the front crossbar to accommodate these side rods. And these side rods are different, if you've noticed. There's a standard double reduction motor. And here's one out of the smoker. It has dimples in it. And they are dimensionally different. They are wider than standard side rods. Like I said, I had to open up these slots in this front crossbar with a file just to get these things to fit. So what I'll do now is come up with a way to put a headlight in it, and I have a new engine. Now this motor is going to very likely wind up in a metal body. Whenever I get these motors running, I've got a bunch of these 490 bodies and 400 bodies. I buy them just to get the motors out of them. And then as a metal engine becomes available, either a wind-up or something that doesn't run, I can just grab one of these motors and drop it into the metal one, which frees up the body for the next motor. So anyway, this actually runs really well. It has plenty of power. It's a double reduction motor, originally out of a 666 smoker. And like I said, those push rods had pegs, and they were designed to mate directly with the bellows, so they didn't use a front crossbar. Anyway, a bit of modification, and it's in there and running, and actually running quite well. So like I said, I'll come up with a headlight for it, and then when a new metal locomotive becomes available, I'll have a new motor to put in it. In the meantime, in the last 2 days, I've now built 2 new locomotives, and both of them running really well, and surprisingly, both of them with double reduction motors. This one just happened to be out of a smoker. Anyway, excuse me. Just wanted to do a quick video on this. Just reaffirms what everything I say about don't overlook the junk. If you have a supply of parts, you know, I found out the armature was bad. As soon as I discovered what it actually was, you can pop this out of here in just a matter of minutes, replace it, and you have a running motor. I bypassed the E-unit, so it's running really, really well. It has plenty of power, double reduction motor. So in a full-size metal locomotive, this will pull almost anything. So I just wanted to do a quick video on this. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.